And we are live back this time for probably one of the more painful endings of an anime that we can have upcoming. My Hero Academia, Season 7, Episode 21, our Season 7 finale. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back with Geek Variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, My Hero Academia Season 7 finale, and we have some upcoming news involving My Hero Academia. As we know that the manga has fully finished and has been finished for a little while now, I want to say probably a couple months. They have announced that Season 8 will be our anime finale, which is going to bum out a lot of people, and I definitely understand exactly where they're coming from. Season 7 has been elite in only so many regards. There has been maybe two, maybe three episodes out of 21 that have been kind of I'm not really sure like where you could categorize it as, but overall it was a fantastic season. So to say that we're only going to get one more, you kind of feel like it's going to be a letdown. But with all great things, there eventually needs to come an end. And the last thing you want to do is hold on far further than what you need to, or rush something that you think you can keep on going far longer than what it should be. I'll give a couple examples. Game of Thrones, that was rushed as all get out, and we saw how the product suffered. You absolutely, in zero circumstances, want to do this with My Hero Academia. There's a built-in captivated audience that understands exactly what they're getting into here involving My Hero Academia. The same could have been said for Game of Thrones, except there wasn't an ending. Instead, they decided to keep rushing season after season after season, as opposed to, giving everything its necessary pause in order to let, the content be written so that boom, there you go. You have all your content that you need to put out for your episodes because the books were originally done. Last thing also you want to be is like Black Clover. Black Clover was absolutely cooking before its hiatus, and I cannot say this enough. Black Clover for me was slowly sneaking into like one of my top 5 animes, and then it went on hiatus. And now, a lot of people were speculating because we got the Black Clover movie like last year that we were going to get the Black Clover series returning at the end of this year. Nope. And now there's speculation that it won't even be at the end of next year that Black Clover is coming back because they sped up so fast as far as the content was concerned because, merch was selling, people were hyped, people were excited that they just kept putting foot on gas and kept rushing the material forward. And ultimately, now they ran out of material to kind of work with. So overall, it was definitely interesting. Welcome back, Izuku. Welcome back. It's going to be a tough episode for you, my friend. Going to be a tough one. And then as well, you don't want to be rushing or holding on to something far longer than what's absolutely necessary. And right now, with this, the manga being definitively concluded, and whether you like it or whether you hate it, manga's over. There's not going to be any rehashes, retouches, redones. It's just there. What happens, happens. I don't think elongating past season 8 would really do much for us. I understand season 8 is going to be tough for a lot of people, that we're going to have a definitive cap on everything. But if they end it in style, I can end up being happy overall. And hey, at least your ending isn't JJK's. That's something that can be said, and that's something that can be addressed at some point in time. I still really want to do like a deep dive into everything involving JJK, about how much hype it got before ultimately ending up where it did in regards to that interesting ending. And now we're about a minute on out from our season 7 finale. If anyone has any predictions, I basically know where the episode's going. They have been hinting so strongly at this since the start of the season that we're going to be losing someone near and dear to us. By all means, hit that comment section, and if you're new, be sure to hit that like or dislike button. It's entirely up to you. Greatly helps us out one way or the other on your way in or out of the video. I do appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the video. We have a couple more minutes, and then I will have the episode pulled up on my side of the screen. And remember, this is one of those watch parties where you pull it up on your device, you pull up our stream, and you watch both. You watch the episode, we'll sync up our times, and then we'll discuss as the episode goes along, and I'll give my full recap, basically get the early peek at what my finale recap will be just at the end of this episode. So if that's something you're looking forward to, like, hey, you're trying to get a little free sneak peek, we don't have those. Crunchyroll is the best way of going. Hulu in the United States and in Canada as well will have it, but Hulu seems to be a little bit behind now in terms of everything, and you still have to wait through commercials if you have the same version I do because I have the one with commercials. Crunchyroll, I have it, so I do not have to deal with any commercials. At this point, I'm just spamming that refresh button. If you see me staring off at my other monitor, that's what I'm doing, trying to get this episode up so that we can go ahead and enjoy and talk about My Hero Academia. Because as much fun as I have talking with each and every one of you, you guys came here for the content. I want to give that to you. I want to make sure I provide my end of the bargain, as because it is in the United States right now on the Pacific time zone. It is 2:30 in the morning. Hopefully for you guys, it is a far more agreeable time. What do we got in the comment section? I've not seen it out on Crunchyroll yet. I'm still spamming that refresh button, Kith the Jordy. I'll let you know. Also, amazing Stitch little cover there. It looks like he's got Elvis's hair. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm kind of nervous about how they're going to do the live action for Lilo and Stitch. So that'll be something that we might cover at some point in time because, Lilo and Stitch was one of those movies that I grew up with that was absolutely fantastic. Choked me up every time. I don't care how tough you are. Some of those movies will get you from time to time. Still spamming that refresh button. It's probably going to be another 2-3 minutes if I had to put an educated guess on it based upon what we usually got. 5:31. So you are in East Coast time, East Coast USA time frame, Izuku. It is amazing that you are able to make the episode considering you will be one of the stars in this episode, I'm assuming. I'm assuming we're going to have some interaction between you and Shigaraki, and I'm assuming that All Might and All for One will have their penultimate battle where we have a definitive winner slash loser overall in their animated saga that has been ongoing for, oh my goodness, who knows how long now. It has been an absolute minute that they've been going at this. I can't even remember how many years definitively, but it's been a good one, folks. It has been a absolute battle. Come on, Crunchyroll, let's drop this episode. They're gonna hold out on us, guys. I'm gonna assume somewhere between next 2-3 minutes. So 10 years, yikes. It's a long time to hate someone. And it's a long time to try and finish someone and like either put them in jail or end their existence and be unsuccessful in both. It kind of makes you wonder just how little help All Might ultimately had in this. Episode 159 did just drop, titled Battle Without a Quirk. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on my side. I'll let you guys know what minute marker I'm at because I usually just don't care much for the opening when we have, especially as much pertinent content that's going to be dropping in this episode. Because, yeah, they're dropped literally a recap and the intro back to back. So in the timestamp below, it'll be 228 sync. Oh, MHA is 10 years old. I'm going to say there seems to be a little bit of fatigue with the series overall from a lot of the fans because season 7's been hitting, but no one is talking about it as like one of the animes of the year. So at the 228 mark is where you guys are going to want to sync up. I'm going to give everyone about 30 seconds to go ahead, get your episode pulled up. We'll get everything synced. We'll hit play together and we'll see how this penultimate battle finishes. It's going to be a crazy, crazy time period. But really, 10 years? Dang. So let's see. I was 20 years old when this series dropped. So it's been a minute that this anime has been up and around. But then again, I don't even want to discuss like everything involving, Dragon Ball Z, which Dragon Ball Daima did drop. I have a review on it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Still not sold on the villain. He reminds me too much of Garlic Jr., but again, that's just me and my personal preferences. I hope you guys enjoy him far more than I do. But in 3, 2, 1, let's watch this episode. I am so excited. One leg, have a really hyper, and you have that one leg that just refuses not to bounce. Endeavor, really? We're going to start the episode with Endeavor basically looking like he has a concussion of concussions. Twice his army got far closer to everybody than they would have led you to believe. Hawkswood looks like he was willing to just straight up and go out. Hmm. Hawks was going to take that full sacrifice directly in the face because he's just now a dude. He ain't anybody special. He's just a regular guy. And then Toga's gonna have to go out and find some clothes here because her quirk and nudity on what is supposed to be a children's show is not going to fly. So definitely a lot of interesting regard there. Yeah, she definitely overexerted herself, so we'll see what kind of effects it'll have ultimately on her body. Because it looks like all the other heroes are coming back down. So we're gonna see how they are ultimately going to deal with her now that they've seen the damage she's done. Chaku is bleeding out on the ground, very, very close to death because she exerted herself in the umpteenth degree. Yeah, she's lost an insane amount of blood. She is going in and out of consciousness. So will Chaco pull through? Who can say? Who can say? Yeah. Will Toga be able to heal her or do anything to help her? No. So this is definitely interesting perspective to see how they're going to kind of bounce back with everything there. Hmm. Mm, it's still shocking that all Toga needed to hear was, "Hey, I'm the cutest girl in the world," and then that's it, able to fix everything. Hmm. Did she end up ending the person that she loved the second most, probably to Deca? 'Cause, yeah, she's like, "I joined up with the League, we're gonna end up destroying the world." Whoops. But now what's she gonna be able to do with her quirk and her power set? She's gonna need to do, like, a blood transfusion and fix what's going on here. So she automatically changes over into her body. That doesn't really look like or is she gonna do a blood transfusion now that she is her? Because their quirk is fighting back. Yep, she's going to do a straight blood transfusion, which could, in all likelihood, end her because she is in a terrible, terrible predicament right now. But if there's anyone who's gonna be qualified to make this work, it would be her. But now Choker's kinda in that weird situation where she's like, You're gonna save me, and then you're gonna die because basically there's only enough blood and enough consciousness for one individual. Unless you pull up the nurse from the school, like right now, then it's gonna be game, set, match for one of these two ladies, which I think Toga has kind of come to her peace finally that she's made choices, they've come to roost, but she's found people she truly, truly cares about, and she's going to make that sacrifice for someone that she truly loves, which for her is all she's ever wanted was someone to love her and be loved in return. This whole perfect symbiotic relationship that they have going on. Not saying it's perfect, obviously, because Ochaku is definitely more of the giver and Toga is definitely more of the taker. But hey, if their relationship works as far as how their love is, then it works that way. Yeah, because I would probably stop using your quirk the minute the blood was going on. The video will not be on screen. That is against all rules and regulations pertaining to Twitch and YouTube. So I would recommend pulling up Crunchyroll or Hulu in your own country. Can't do that on this channel, or the channel itself will be taken down. So the answer to that one will be no. So right now we're still having our heartwarming moment with our two, well, heroines, I guess would be the nice way of putting it, because Toga is slowly coming back around to the good guy's perspective, and Ochaku is still always been like one of the nicest people out there, just stuck in a terrible, terrible spot. of trying to heal this broken vessel that is, in fact, you know, Toga, because she's got a lot of baggage, a lot of baggage, a lot of tough situations to be in overall. Not ideal. Hmm. But it is still crazy that between Ochaku and Deku, they're both trying to do the absolute darndest they can for people who, in all certainty, are trying to end their existence in one way, shape, manner, or form. So this finale is so far delivering on that side of thing. We're spending a lot more time on this than I honestly thought that they were going to. I thought this was more wrapped up last week and it seemed fine to leave it in its current state. But I guess we're gonna pay Toga the ultimate respect with her ultimately, you know, passing in this form or fashion. That she did what she could to heal someone she cared about. For gravity. Sorry, I was just taking a note real quick. Wanted to make sure I have my notes put together for when the finale recap drops later tonight. But it looks like Toga's ultimately going to be. Yep, she gave everything. She has nothing left. I lived the way I wanted for whom I love. And your gravity passed out. It's a tough call on that one. But she will live. But Toga is now no longer with us. So Toga and Dobby, for all intents and purposes, are completely out of the picture. Dobby, at best, will be in critical care for the rest of his life. Mm. And then this is going to be covering a lot of what Night Eye and All Might have been discussing for eons, that these two are in this terrible situation. Mm. Time to see what the magical briefcase ultimately has. See what kind of showdown that these two individuals have, because this is the showdown that they've been waiting for. Oh, hello. We're going all out with the animation style. All right, I see you. So he has basically a special mech suit that's gonna try and assist him. See how we got going on here. And All Might versus Armored All Might versus All for One. This is going to be the moment right now. Hercules is the name of his heir. So this powered suit is basically going to be the best that we have for All Might in this Hail Mary of a situation overall. Don't like your the Bankai. Okay, nice little reference to something else going on here. Because All Might's going to go down swinging. He's going to go down trying to be the greatest hero he possibly can be. Is it the right move? No. Is this the move that you would expect All Might to make in this situation? 1000%. He's going to put his life on the line because he's seen how Class 1A has responded to him, and he wants to still lead from the front. A true leader leads from the front as opposed to just giving everyone a whole bunch of directions from the back and then doing, absolutely diddly squat on the back end. So Armored All Might is going to go ahead and try and take out a now youthful All for One, which a lot of people are fangirling over him. So I guess that's an interesting thing. Mm. But now they're going to have the ultimate battle that they've been having for the longest time and awaiting. Because his armor is very legit. He's got some kind of Iron Man mech going on here, but that smile that he's got on that is absolutely terrifying. Because this Hercules armor is gonna have to definitely do 1000% of the legwork. It's going to show that the mech side of things was, intended to, at least in some distinction, go and try and replace somewhat some of the quirks, or at least give some armor to everybody. Mhm, mhm, mhm. And here we see that All Might is definitely going straight for a 1v1 showdown. And then he's pulling out. Okay, he's impaled him. He's got him held up. He's going to try and electrocute him and then go from a finish from there. Because if you can keep him from regenerating, that's a fantastic move. 'Cause, yeah, he's going to try and continue to weaken him as best he can. 'Cause All Might does have some kind of advantage in the sense that, hey, if you're out here trying to steal a quirk, I'm quirkless. I give my quirk to somebody else. I pass it down the line. Good luck. I'm just a dude inside an suit of armor ready to go at you 1v1, bro. It is the worst matchup possible for all for one, but again, it's still all for one. That's a tough situation to be in. But again, being the villain that he is, he put himself right here. All Might is going to go down swinging for the fences, and the cop knows ultimately that this is a one-way ticket at best. So we'll see what happens going on right now. All right, okay. He's basically going to try. Oh, kick him right in the dang nose. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm in my 50s. I'm beating a young man. Because we saw the darkness that was within All for One pass down to his next in line, and All Might's Hope pass down to his next in line. So ultimately, it's gonna be interesting to see how everything going on. All for One is just basically just taking every strike directly to the face like it ain't no thing. Eric, oh, he just up. Oh, that's All Might in that path of destruction. Okay, that is not ideal at all. That is not good because he just shoved like four combos of corks together and said, "To the face." Oh wow, and he is still standing. Wow, his left wrist is broken and his collarbone is shattered. So that's not ideal. All for One is now extra pissed off because he is just like, "Really? You're gonna fight me quirkless, nameless, and powerless?" He's like, "You are just doing the absolute worst." Because the last thing you wanna do is arrive in front of the demon lord and be like, "Hey, everything's going to be, you know, the guy," and then he's got this random dude in a suit of armor trying to beat him up. This is probably what Thanos thought when, Iron Man showed up, be like, "Really? A dude in a suit of armor? Really? This is what we're gonna do right now?" Mm. And All for One's like, "I completely understand what you're trying to do by your stalling technique, so I don't make it to the battle with Deku and Shigaraki, but I'm still here to do what needs to get done in no uncertain circumstances." Oh, a super acid injection directly into the core of All for One. That is a dirty move, but I am 100% for it when he was as that class as he is. And we're getting all the flashbacks, so I don't trust that All Might's going to be, you know, in the situation that he's always. See how they're gonna play this out. I don't trust that All for One is not going down to this. I just trust him to be too evil to not, just collapse on this one. We're getting a lot of flashbacks, so be worried about All Might. The last anytime you get a significant ton of flashbacks and fights, you know you're about to lose somebody because you're building up on that lore of just trying to understand who they are and what they're about. And it goes to show that All Might was literally just following around the previous quirk user for one for all for one. No, one for all, and was just like, please, please, please. And she's like, fine, fine. I guess I guess I'll train you in the most reluctant way possible. But he begged for the right reasons. He begged because he wanted to use the power correctly. And then Tatooine Station, that's a Star Wars reference. Oh, and there's All Might being yeeted into a fence. So they're going straight for UA, which means everyone needs to start panicking. Yep, and now we have All Might basically down and out for the count, awaiting All for One's ultimate judgment in the end here. Yeah, more his helmet is destroyed, and he is just going to struggle and force himself to get up. But his left wrist is broken, his collarbone's broken, his body is destroyed, the suit's falling apart. Things are not going good. But unfortunately, we're still having this interesting aging process going on with All for One as he's trying to figure out and focusing all of his intensive energies directly upon, if he stalls him out, he'll become too useful and then potentially pass away, which is the whole purpose of the stalling. All Might is going out laughing like a sadist. Wow. Yeah, you would assume this is a villain based on the way he's loosely portraying mine. The Gravity and Ingenium full throttle. Basically, they put in tons of people's quirks to try and make this suit kind of be, active. But Class 1A, as you can rather than going through character for character for character, everyone is basically down other than maybe like 5 or 6 of them. So it's not an ideal situation to be in. Mm. Yeah, Midoriya is still in this insane battle, going with Shigaraki. Oh, cool. We're gonna get like a choir going in here in the background. As Deku is now sensing All Might's in the fight. Hmm. So we are having the showdown of showdown. The previous generation and the young generation are just going ham. Ugh. Did I get the episode count wrong? I'm generally assuming I got the episode count wrong if that's where they're gonna finish things. Are we going 22 episodes? Because there was a rumor 21 was gonna be it. No, there's a shot of the school to be continued next season. Okay. I was gonna say it's like you left us on a cliffhanger. Why in the world would you do that? But again, they knew all along that next season was gonna be the final season. I ain't even mad at it. It's not a bad way of going about things overall. Solid episode. It leaves some things open to interpretation, but again, if you know the manga, you know that ultimately we're going to be losing more people than we're definitely going to be gaining at this moment in time. We're going to be seeing a couple of characters that people have very, very deep attachments to passing away or being, ended in any and all uncertain terms. Deku is still stuck in his insane battle with Shigaraki, which I think is a terrible way of ending the season, of leaving that cliffhanger going on, even though I understand why they did it. It doesn't mean I think it was the right decision. But again, I'm just a content creator. Who am I to say that Bones doesn't understand what they've been doing? They have been cooking all season. So I guess benefit of the doubt has to go their way. Ultimately, we still have All Might, hanging out, fighting out his last breaths, basically, trying to do everything he can to ensure that All For One is not going to be able to do what he wants to do. And he's going to continue to force the pressure on him and force him to exert himself so that he kind of loses focus of what's going on with Ares' rewind quirk, overexerts himself, and then through any and all uncertain terms, force himself basically to continue to become younger and younger and younger and younger until that's it. He just dies just like that. Because we saw how Ares Rewind quirk was going to go out and basically end Deku. We ultimately had to go out and stop that because like he was rewinding, but he was rewinding so fast that it was going to end his existence. Any and all characters that run into Ares Rewind quirk that aren't adequately prepared to do anything with it, you better just run. The girl has a quirk that ultimately the villain, even though I absolutely despise him, that used her and was like experimenting on her quirk, definitely understood what could have been done with it and could have made a quirkless society the way in which he wanted to, in whatever form and fashion he felt was best. But ultimately, we and this season basically still staring at a couple battles that we're probably going to pick up in the very, very beginning of next season, which I'm assuming will be in 2025. I didn't see any official word. I just know that the season 8 will be our definitive conclusion for MHA. Season 7 was their best season thus far. Hopefully, season 8 continues in the same upward trajectory we've seen because season 6 was fantastic. Season 7's been great, if not one of their best, in my opinion, the best. So, seeing season 8 being a high peak conclusion, I think will be absolutely fantastic for it. It'll be a great closing out to a show that Izuku clearly and definitively pointed out has been out for 10 years now. So, it's been a great 10-year run. It's been enjoyable from start to finish for me. I had a couple parts where I was like kind of concerned it wasn't going to go in a positive direction, but boy, am I happy when I'm wrong. This anime has delivered. Season 7 was great. The cliffhanger, I still don't think is the right choice, but again, it will still build intrigue, and depending upon Bones' schedule, we could get this as early as summer of next year. We'll just ultimately see. I don't want them to rush anything just to ensure that we have quality of content, because now that we know that the manga is definitively done, it has been done for a couple months now, so everyone who wants to look up spoilers, they're there. um, there's no reason to rush this. Take your time, make a good definitive product that the fans will enjoy, and it'd be a great way to finish out this anime respectfully and in a way that everyone can be ultimately happy with. I don't really have too much else to break down. We had our moment where Ochaku was unconscious. Himiko gave up her life in order to make sure that Toga was going to be. Well, Toga gave up her life so that Ochaku, pardon me, could go ahead and survive. Had to do a quick blood transfusion because Uravity continued to move long past the point in which she was stabbed and likely was not going to be able to survive any further. So the blood transfusion saved her life. We had All Might going all out against All For One, our demon lord, and the Ares rewind quirk is taking a significant toll upon him and his body, and he hasn't noticed because he's too busy trying to trash talk All Might, who is at this point laughing like a sadist, trying to ensure that ultimately that All For One doesn't notice the rewind quirks taking its effects as potently as it is, so that we'll have some kind of manner in which we're able to have some kind of conclusion with him passing away due to him just losing track of ultimately what's going on because he didn't likely fully understand the effects that were going into the rewind quirk, which would have been a major miscalculation on his part. And Deku is now aware that his mentor is in a 1v1 for his entire life and will likely try and rush things involving Shigaraki, which, if we all understand Shigaraki the way I think we do, you should know, do not go 1v1 against Shigaraki and not be paying attention. His quirk list is off the charts, and that decay quirk is absolutely broken. The fact he's able to amplify it the way in which he has been able to do so spells nightmares for just about everybody not named Deku, who has his own little tool tricks in order to survive. I don't think there's much else to break down. I've been Brent for Geek Variants. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit a like, dislike button, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We're still covering Dandadan, Mecha Ude, Blue Lock Season 2. Episode 2 is coming around the corner, as well as Dragon Ball Daima. I already have a breakdown on that one coming up. And in probably the next 20-30 minutes, I will have the definitive conclusion for My Hero Academia Season 7, Episode 21. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to check out all that amazing content here on the channel, or if you're on Twitch, hit that follow button. Both are entirely free, greatly helps us out, and ensures you get the content that you're looking for if you enjoy Geek Variants. I'm Brent for Geek Variants. Have a great night, folks.